Hey everybody, it's Bruno from MB. Make sure to subscribe to the Megapix Media channel and you'll never miss anything. Enjoy the episode.
That's right. What's up, you sucker? What you looking at?
People have to exercise leadership, whether they're in a position of leadership or their own. They have to exercise leadership. And there are three premises. It's a triangle. First of all, you got to think about what is my intention. So me. Attention. What about the others? Caring for them. And then the third thing, alignment, which is with the team stated or corporate goal. And finally, to make it all happen, everyone has to think about being in its or his or her circle of influence. No ands, ifs, or buts. And that's how you change from a culture of entitlement to a culture of corporate direction where everybody's aligned to create the goal you seek.
You know, if you guys are interested in finding out more of those 6 steps, just click on the link below. We'll add a link to that and we'll figure it out. Much has been said and so many books have been thrown out there. In a couple of minutes or less, and we can put a link to more thoughts. Everybody really writes a lot about how employers can be better employers and what a good company could be, but I haven't read too many books on how employees could be better employees. Thoughts?
Again, you know, like I have known you for over
too long.
and you're always going beyond the boundaries, and that's where I am. I try to play the game being in the known but also seeking the future. And one of the things that is not well understood is that leaders have to take an empowering approach. And if you may remember, we've written about that in our book. Empowerment is, there are 4 things. Number 1 is that you have to listen to understand how people feel, because they're not going to act if they're not motivated. Secondly, you've got to have a common goal, and it's well explained and put forth and discussed so that people can integrate it. But the most important is the third, if you talk about a pillar, the third one is asking people for help, as opposed to saying, I know everything, therefore. No, ask people, because they have ideas too. As a matter of fact, that's how a corporation lives, by the intelligence, the gray matter of all the people that work there. And the fourth thing is ask for help, offer help, as opposed to telling people, get out of the way, I'm going to get it done because you can't do it. Offer help. Can I go and get information for you? Can I bring you somebody that's going to guide you? Be a help. Ken Blanchard wrote a book about fanatics. And he says a leader should be one that says, hey, this is where we want to go, and then be a cheerleader. Encourage people to go there. That's not telling them how to do it. Mm-hmm. That's asking them how they're going to do it. And I think that in this way, you can switch from the management, if you want, the corporate, the C-suite, being like dictating, to listening to the people. People are good people. They go to work every day. They want to be paid for what they do. And a lot of corporations and companies and organizations ask people to check their brains at the door. And I think that that's the solution to what you've just asked. It has empowered the people, each and every one, to take responsibility for their part of the massive macro picture. Mm-hmm. What they do is as important as what the CEO does.
Okay, so Ray, I'm going to ask you a question here. Since we've known each other, that's, holy moly, it's been a while. And back when you started this peak performance business, there were a lot less personal coaches, life coaches, executive coaches, coaches of coaches, and coaches who coach coaches who coaches. What do you tell people who think they need a coach, in whatever, peak performance or life coaching? What do you tell the people to really look at in their screening or selection of coaches?
I think that there is a one fundamental fact that people looking for a coach should determine right off the bat, and that is, will that person help me reach my goals? And if you, in the exchange, do not feel and gather the information that says, yeah, this person can shoulder and support and, you know, assist and accompany me in my journey, then you shouldn't consider that person.
Okay.
It's, to me, keep it simple.
So let me ask you this about coaching, is when you're selecting a coach or somebody is pushing them, there's different models. One of the models that's been pushed to me quite often is when somebody comes over and systematically says, we'll meet 3 times a week or once a month for the next year or year and a half. That always kind of threw me off a little bit, because I'm saying coaching is about behavior. And how do you know that I'm going to get over my behavior in a year and a half? As opposed to maybe it'll take 6 years of one-on-ones, or it might take 6 weeks or 6 hours. What do you say when somebody comes over with an already scheduled package, I guess?
Listen, the client's always right. However, as you know, because we've worked together, I have a process where I spend 10 hours split in 5 sessions, which establishes, to me at least, if we should continue.
Mm-hmm.
And for the other person, whether they should continue. So when somebody comes to me and say, I want to see you 3 times a month and all that kind of stuff, I'll say, okay, let's go through the steps to establish the basis. Then we will decide what kind of follow-up. And in some cases, I've had clients that, 2 years before the next. And then I've had clients that it's almost weekly.
Right. Okay.
It depends on the client's needs. It shouldn't be the coach saying it depends on the client's needs. However, I'll hasten to say this. With experience, you should guide the person. Because one of the things that happens, and I hear it all the time because, I'm a member of a circle, is that there are people that they will do it because it brings in money.
I guess that's my point.
I know it's your point. And the idea is, for me, I tell people right off the bat, when we start, my goal is to see you fly out of the nest and use your own wings forever. And all you've got to do is, if you want to chat with me, you can call me. If you have a certain situation that you'd like me to help you with, I'll be there. But to say, we will regularly have a chat, I think that imposes. I think the client is always right. And the client should decide, I need help, or you know what, I'm doing fine.
Mm-hmm. How
are you doing? Great. Hey, how are the kids? Stuff like that. And, keep going. But if you have an issue, and, case in point, I'm working with a client right now that I hadn't heard from for 4 years. 4 years. Then all of a sudden, I've got a situation, can you help me with this? And I've been working quite closely for 15 months because it's a real tough situation. It has to do with constructive dismissal and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I've been working closely with him. But apart from that, I didn't hear from him for 4 years.
Right. Well, you know what, Ray? It's always a pleasure. If ever you guys out there want to hear anything more, you can even go on Amazon. Ray's got how many books now? 4 books?
Well, I've got 2. The third one is to come out, and I have been a member of an organization that has published 4 other books.
There you go.
So
We
I
have a
think
workshop. There's a workshop. Ray's involved quite a bit. You can look him up on Amazon. And
LinkedIn.
You can
Facebook.
Facebook. You can Twitter. You can click under here. Contact them directly if you have any questions, comments, like, dislike. We're good on all that stuff. But always a pleasure. And just like every time I come down to Ottawa, you're one of the first people I meet. So
I appreciate that, and you know, like you're one of my best students, if I can use the term, or coachee. Because
I'm an evergreen. You never finish with me.
well, that means that you're improving. Do you agree? You know,
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
a lot
never
of fun.
finished, that means that you're always improving.
It's a lot of fun. I can. This is about Ray, but I will tell you, and it's not just endorsing, but obviously, you know, anybody who's on this program has to be fanatical about what they do. And I must admit that the door is always open a little wider when you're done something and you're ambitious. So I do thank you for that, Ray. So it's a lot of fun. Click down here, any information you guys want. Great to be on MB with Ray and B. Have a great day.
Thank you.
That's right. What's up, you sucker? What's up, you sucker? What you looking at?
Well, you know what? That's pretty much all the time we have for this episode today. Thank you for tuning in with us. And you know what? Make sure you subscribe to our Megapix Media channel so you will never miss an episode. And also, you can follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook, Instagram. We have content almost every day. So thank you very much for joining us. I'll see you guys soon.